Like Ice 9 Kills?
Yes!
Hey there friends, Kevin here from MSOTD Rocks and the Chord Progression Podcast, and today I'm going to be taking a look at one of my favorite bands of all time, Ice 9 Kills. No, I'm not going to be taking a look at the Silver Scream 2 Welcome to Horrorwood just yet. I will be doing a review on that album when the album does drop. This is going to be taking a little bit of a different look at Ice 9 Kills. The focus on this one is going to be Ice 9 Kills marketing and how they went from being a rather smaller band with much more of a niche concept to being one of the biggest bands in metalcore today. And no, this is not by accident. When it comes to the marketing behind Ice 9 Kills, they are absolute geniuses and straight up killers when it comes to this. So we're going to be taking a look at how they started with this and where they got to today and how it's going to lead them into the future. But before we really jump into this, please remember to follow MSOTD Rocks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to connect with us and really go through everything we have to offer. Please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel to get these videos, plus some of the other videos we make, including every single Chord Progression Podcast episode, where you can actually watch us talking to all of these different bands and really go deep into their music and really get a deep dive look at them like you will never ever see anywhere else. You can also stream the episode's audio version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeart Radio. Links are in the description below for everything, and I also want to thank our sponsor, Phoenix Fitness. With concerts back, with going to mosh pits, you want to make sure your fitness level is at the top of your game so that you do not tap out halfway through a festival, halfway through a show, or halfway through a mosh pit. So if you want to achieve your fitness goals by going to the gym, working out, and using the right supplements, that's where Phoenix Fitness comes in with different pre-workouts, BCAA recovery compounds, proteins, creatines, multivitamins, anything you need, they have it at fnxfit.com. Our listeners and viewers get 15% off using the code MSOTD at checkout. Link description below for everything. Thank you, Phoenix Fitness. Now let's start this one out right. So where Ice 9 Kills genius marketing started out was all the way back in 2009 when they signed to Fair Music, and they really began to become more of a prominent band on Warped Tour with more of this horror-centric theatrical metalcore style. Now originally the band was more of this pop-punk ska style band off of their first release, but then they end up coming out with their second release, Safe As Just a Shadow, in 2010 to really give more of a base to this. Now when it comes to Ice 9 Kills genius in marketing, especially as a band, you need to have a bass sound and a core sound to really go off to grow this. And with their niche out, this is the album that really begins to show this. So now as a band, Ice 9 Kills has this whole entire horror theatrical metalcore style to their own, and really no other band was doing this, so this is completely unique to them, which gives them such a strong base to go off of. But now the key is, how do you get more people to listen to this? How do you grow your fan base with such a niche sound? That's where the next album came in. So now on to Predator Becomes the Prey, their third studio album. When it came out with this album, they decided to really go deeper into that more horror theatric metalcore style that they had, and really decided to bring it out more to more people. But how do you do that? And the first thing they did was,
I know you're a 30 Seconds to Mars fan, but do you like Ice 9 Kills?
Yes!
They created a promotional video parodying the famous Patrick Bateman killing Paul Allen in American Psycho scene, which we will reference later, don't get me wrong on that. But what they did was they did a voiceover with it and really parodied it so that they could show the more connection to horror along with their music. Now where this comes in heavily is because a lot of people know that scene, and it's going to be something that's going to stick in their minds where this band has more of a connection to the horror base. And it makes total sense. You're getting an understanding of it visually through the idea of this promotional video. When it comes to the visuals as well, take a look at the album cover itself. Honestly, with its more black and gray kind of style, demonic looking Spencer looking like he should be the villain in the 2011 movie Insidious instead of Darth Maul's cousin, it really paints this picture of more of a demonic tone, which really sets forward in with the horror trope, specifically with the red eyes. Then you take a look at the back end of the album artwork and you see where the songs come in, and take to the song titles. Now we're getting more of this horror trope with the song titles. Connect the cuts, let's bury the hatchet in your head, the coffin is moving, and the fastest way to a girl's heart is through her ribcage. Now you're seeing visually not only the album artwork, but these song titles are really working more with this horror trope as well. So we're starting to get more of an understanding of where Ice 9 Kills is going with their music, and it's really starting to show here. Now when it comes to the song styles in The Predator Becomes the Prey, they really brought more of that heavier metalcore sound to the forefront, But what they also did was they added more of those theatrical elements such as pianos, violins, cellos, other string instruments to really give up more of this creepy horror feel that you really feel when you're watching those movies. One of the other major aspects of this was using more of a wieldy guitar style that they had with Justin Timberlake at this point, because it created more of this paranoia kind of feel on a quicker scale to really amp that up. Not only that, but the difference in the unclean vocals between Spencer's deeper uncleans and JD's higher pitched uncleans really created more of this compare and contrast style that really created more of this demonic and potential human side look at things. So you're really starting to see the seeds planted for what was to come on the next album. When it comes to the music videos though, you need to look no further than The Fast Way to a Girl's Heart is Through Her Ribcage, where the band takes this 1950s Buddy Holly style school dance that also has a backstory of a demonic vampire-like woman who is going to be killing everyone at the high school until Spencer eventually kills her. Fun fact though, Spencer and the girl in that video, they're still together to this day. She'll come in a bunch of later videos as well. That's kind of cool. So how does this all work within marketing? When it comes to Ice Nine Kills, yes, Safe as a Shadow really started out to give you that core base of a sound. With Predator Becomes the Prey, they really started to expand on that, and they really did a lot more to create a visual sense in order to connect people visually with the idea of horror. Again, the song titles, the visuals on the album cover, the promotion, the music videos really tie more into this. So now you're seeing more of this fleshed out kind of style sound with their overall influence. We really took a lot more here, and it really shows. When the album was released, it peaked at 153 on the Billboard Top 200. Now, again, I know that's not that high, but when you take a look at it, we're still getting Ice Nine Kills to be charted. So now people are starting to take notice. And this was the time when they became a rather consistent player on Warped Tour, especially in the later years of the festival, where they were going to be on every single year. So people that are going to be in that kind of a musical scene that would easily get more into the metalcore style and more into the niche style of a horrorcore, theatrical core kind of style that Ice Nine Kills has, especially after their first 3 albums, you're going to especially get that at Warped Tour. So now the fans have a little bit more of an easier time to discover this band, especially ones that are going to become those fans later on. But then their 4th album came out, and this really started to really boil over until we got to the ultimate point. So going into Ice Nine Kills' 4th album, Every Trick in the Book, before the album was released, they had signed a deal with Fearless Records. Now this is incredibly important when it comes to marketing, because when it comes to the scene, Fearless Records has always been known as a record label that has come out with a lot of quality music, with a lot of quality bands. So from a marketing perspective, Ice Nine Kills getting the Fearless Records seal of approval really puts in the minds of fans, especially in the scene, that this band is definitely one you're going to want to check out if Fearless Records is putting their seal of approval behind it. If they're signing them, you're going to want to check them out. It speaks to the quality of the music, and this is something that Ice Nine Kills can use going even further. Plus, having Fearless in your corner, this is going to allow the band to promote themselves even more when it comes to more major publications and radio stations to get their music on airplay, along with promotion of the upcoming album and charting higher in sales so that, more people check it out. So now with Every Trick in the Book, the band was creating more of this horror concept behind their albums. And the concept behind Every Trick in the Book was every song was going to be based off of a different book or a piece of literature that had horror behind it. There was a song based off of Animal Farm by George Orwell, which takes a look at communism. One based off of The Exorcist, one based off of Carrie, one based off of Dracula, one based off of the 1972 Uruguayan national rugby team, which had to resort to cannibalism after crashing into a mountain with their plane, and The Diary of Anne Frank. They're really taking a lot more of these aspects from literature that have these more heinous and more horror bases behind them, put them in their music. So now we have substance behind it as well to add to the music. But did the music hold up is the real question. When it came to the quality of Ice Nine Kills style metalcore, this just kept improving with this, because the band was able to really take the ideas that were being brought around the stories that were being told, put them into more of a musical style, and really push them out there, which is really important going into when they become massive players like they are today. Take a look at Me, Myself, and Hyde. The song intros with a horse walking down the street with a horse-drawn carriage, and then the pianos and violins come in with a soft sound, with the rain falling behind it, really make you feel like you're in 1800s Victorian England, which fits right into the style of when Me, Myself, and Hyde was written. Then you go to The People in the Attic, where you have this more of this uneasy cranking feel, and then you have this part where it sounds like Hans Landa from Inglourious Basterds is knocking on the door and is trying to hunt the people he is trying to hunt, which perfectly fits into the time frame of The Diary of Anne Frank. And then Community the Curse does this beautiful beautifully, because with Spencer's unclean vocals, you get the feel of the little girl that's possessed by the demon, and you use JD's unclean vocals a higher pitch to show more of the preachers that are trying to perform the exorcism. You're getting this total balance here, and it's absolutely perfect because it pulls out every single aspect of these core ideas into the songs. This is imperative to how Ice Nine Kills really creates this overall feel, this mission behind them, and it's going to be really big when it comes to their marketing down the line. And then with the music videos, again, visually they're adding more of the source material to them. With the nature of the beast based off of Animal Farm, they're literally retelling the story of Animal Farm just through that with the members of the band and a lot of other people. Community of the Curse, we do see that. However, we're seeing the band perform in a church as well. And when Spencer does the whole exorcism thing when he's floating, it just adds more to it. Then with Hell in the Hallways, which is based off of Carrie, they totally portray that with more of a modern high school style that is going to go off the whole entire Carrie thing. But when they're in the prom setting, yeah, Ice Nine Kills the band that's on the stage. The visual connection here is just getting more and more apparent and is more and more closely related to what we're actually seeing. We're seeing the attention to detail really showing through here, and when it comes to marketing, my god, this is where it hits. So with Every Trick in the Book, when it was released, it peaked at 122 on the Billboard Top 200 and was #1 on the Heat Seekers charts. So when we're seeing the actual commercial representation of it, it's being shown here. Plus, now the band was going out on Warped Tour every single year. They were one of the bigger bands on the tour. Plus, there was a huge connection to Motionless in White. The band started performing with Motionless in White. Spencer would go on stage at Warped Tour, perform Abigail alongside Chris Motionless, and the band would end up going on tour with Motionless in White when Motionless released the Graveyard Shift album in 2017. Marketing wise, how does this all come together? Well, let me tell you. When it comes to the music of Ice Nine Kills, again, now we're seeing it visually, but we're having a connection with pieces of literature. People know these famous pieces of literature, and a lot of fans are able to kind of take a look and say, how did Ice Nine Kills actually do with this idea? How they do with this overall source material? How did they portray this in their songs? So when they really went through that, again, people are connected with it. We're applauding how well done and how well connected the source material the band was. So now you're really connecting more with the horror community as you're seeing it. The visuals with every representation of horror, again, Community of the Curse, Hell in the Hallways, Nature of the Beast, the people in the attic, it's just killing it every step of the way. When they're on stage, they're starting to add more of this stuff to their live setting, which is why in Warped Tour they were such a big thing. But when it came to the Motionless and White connection, this was absolutely huge. When it came to Motionless and White with their gothic metalcore style, a lot of their real hardcore fans were going to have a much easier transition getting into Ice Nine Kills because gothic and horror are rather closely related. So going on tour with them and really seeing that Motionless and White was going to put Ice Nine Kills behind them as well and support them, this just makes all the sense in the world. At the moment right now, Ice Nine Kills has everything going for them. They have the quality music, they have the connection to everything with horror. They have the support from a label, they have support from other bands and Warped Tour. But to really hit it off, they just needed a spark. So when it came to making Ice Nine Kills' 5th album, when they needed that spark, the band decided to follow along what they did with Every Trick in the Book by using different horror aspects with a lot of source material to go off of. But instead of doing books this time, they went with the movies. Now where this comes in, because the horror genre is such a big thing in terms of the movie industry, where a lot of people know it has a lot of cultish fans behind it, so everyone's going to be really protective of the stuff that they love. And in order to create quality music that everyone's going to love and people that love these franchises and these movies are really going to get behind, it takes a person to have a deep-seated knowledge of everything going on in these movies, everything going on with the source material, and really getting that down. That person is Spencer Charnas. When it comes to the song styles of this, again, they took exactly what they did with Every Trick in the Book and then doubled down on it, but they created even more of a grander scheme because, especially with movies, you have the audio and visual representation. The two songs that perfectly show how well Ice Nine Kills integrated all this stuff are A Great Mistake and It Is the End. With A Great Mistake, it is a much slower song. It has a piano intro to it, which is a lot slower. And really, when you dive deep into that song, again, it's based off of The Crow, and it has a more deep-conceited meaning to it, so it's going to have a more slower, darker tone like it does in the movie. But the guitar solo is really where it sticks out for me, because in the movie, Brandon Lee is playing the guitar and does have a guitar solo, especially in a couple of different parts of that movie. But the guitar solo on A Great Mistake, the tone is almost identical. So you really get drawn into the whole entire feel of the song. Now you go to It Is The End, and it is a little crazier. It's going all over the place, but with their metalcore style, they included the horns from the guys from Less Than Jake in there. And that added to the whole entire idea of Pennywise the Clown, the carnival side of things, the clown side of things, and it added more to the scarier topic, especially when you had them going. It just made so much sense, and every song has so much quality behind it, but these two specifically really brought that to the forefront. But then Ice Nine Kills came out with their music videos, and I'm taking a look at the 5 in the series. I'm not taking a look at Merry Axmas or Savages. I'm taking a look at American Nightmare, Thank God It's Friday, A Great Mistake, Sad in the Dark, It Is The End. With that 5 video series, they had a story, a horror movie created around it, where a therapist was talking to Spencer, and Spencer was regaling all these stories and all these visions that he was having about people dying around him. And all of a sudden, it seemed like everywhere he was going, this was actually happening. And they showed this in the video, only for the end of the videos to show it is the end that Spencer was truly the killer, was a whole plot to kill this therapist, all because this therapist released a criminal earlier on in his life that ended up killing Spencer's parents. Again, this is all in the little music video side of things. But why this is so important is because Ice Nine Kills created a whole horror movie through their music videos. And it was something that came from 1 through 5. You had to wait for this stuff. They created a whole entire lore around themselves with this. So when it came to connecting with the horror movie fans with Ice Nine Kills, again, you had the song quality there, but you also had this idea of a horror movie in the music videos. Now, any horror fan could look at Ice Nine Kills and say, they absolutely got this right. I'm absolutely intrigued by this. And they're going to dive deeper into it. So now you're not just getting the metalcore fans, or the metalcore fans that like horror. No, now you're starting to get some more of these just horror fans that are like, holy crap, this is really good music. You're broadening your horizons to a much larger audience as long as the song qualities are good, which they were.
I certainly hope so.
Looking at the critical response, it peaked at number 2 on the hard rock charts for Billboard, but the Billboard Top 200, it topped out at number 29. This is a huge jump from where Every Trick in the Book was, and now you're seeing the commercial success behind it. They marketed themselves throughout this whole entire thing as the band that was creating great metalcore with such horror tropes and such horror concepts around it with the source material that it really shows in terms of the overall style of play. It really shows into how they're growing, and the numbers showed, especially on Billboard. They are not skipping a beat on this one as quality is consistently going up. And now you're having fans that like horror, that aren't into that kind of music, getting into the band because the band is creating this style of music and they're staying true to the source material. They're really doing it right and everyone loves it. I'm not gonna lie, I really can't find many people that don't like it. However, when it comes to the success of their marketing, their connection to SiriusXM Octane cannot be overstated in this. SiriusXM Octane is probably the premier radio station across the United States when it comes to getting known, especially with more of this like post-hardcore, metalcore, maybe more of a harder music kind of style that's not full on heavy metal, death metal, because they got different stations for that. And SiriusXM Octane is known as that premier station, so they're known for putting out quality music. They're known for promoting bands that are really good. And of course, with Fearless Records behind them as well, they will start pumping more money towards this and really start to get more plays on the overall station. To the point where in 2018 on the Big Guns Countdown, A Grave Mistake finished number 6 on the list. In 2019, Savages finished number 4. So this connection is just showing, and people are really able to get behind it because they trust SiriusXM Octane. So if they're going to be playing this music, they're going to be able to want to listen to it at least once to see if they can get behind it. And it seems like they absolutely did. To the point where in 2019, they were put on tour on the SiriusXM Octane Accelerator Tour as the headliner with support from Pittsburgh King, Light the Torch, Make Them Suffer, and Awake at Last. And this gave them national notoriety as a player, as a headliner, and it really let them show what they could do on stage, again, as a premier band. And that's actually where I first saw the band live. This is actually, I only knew 2 songs at this point when I got to see them on November 2nd, 2019. This was a show that absolutely blew me away because the music was fantastic. The flow of the show was incredible. Again, you could be in a mosh pit going nuts, which I pretty much was, and having a great time, but watching the stage presence, all the different props, all the different things they use with the horror tropes, and Spencer coming out at the end to do It Is The End, the full clown makeup, this just really connects so much more with the horror idea as well when you're coming to market your band. Now you have all these different national players behind you. Now you're really starting to put yourself out there. You're seeing the numbers success, but when it comes to getting the fans, A couple things happened during the Silver Screen run that really played into this well, and this shows how genius Ice Nine Kills is, after really building up their whole entire musical stock. So now we have to go back to April in 2019 when Ice Nine Kills is in support of Falling in Reverse on the Episode 3 tour. In April, they were set to play at the House of Blues in Orlando, Florida, but were told that they could not play because of their violent imagery. Now, House of Blues in Orlando is on the Disney Springs property, which is owned by Disney. Disney is going for family values, and all the horror tropes, the killing stuff, yeah, they're not going to fly with it. Ice Nine Kills, instead of just taking this as a loss, they decided to try and make it into a win for themselves. They try to play along with it, so they've created 3 different t-shirts and styles with different Disney characters as horror movie characters, like Mickey as Freddy Krueger, not the one that I'm wearing, but a different one. Goofy as Leatherface, and Donald Duck as Little Georgie from It, where it's about to be eaten by Pennywise the Clown. And this is absolutely incredible because you have so many people that love Disney. It's a nationally known brand. It's a worldwide known brand. And you're using their characters and putting them as horror characters. I mean, of course the Ice Nine Kills fans are going to eat this up, but Disney fans are going to notice it, horror fans are going to notice it, and they're going to want them too. They didn't have those shirts up for long, maybe only a couple of days, but Disney never actually sent them a cease and desist letter.
And I'm sitting there thinking, when is the cease and desist from Disney going to come? Our lawyer was
It's not like they don't have a lawyer around.
Right. And Disney is historically known for being very stringent about their intellectual property, and it just never came.
Which is absolutely amazing. And right when all this was happening, they posted this on Lauer. That's how I actually found out about the band in 2019, which is absolutely incredible because that's how I found out about them, and I'm making a video on them. When it came to the marketing of that, they really played into this negative, turned it into a positive, but then they just kept going with it. And the fact that Disney did not send them a cease and desist letter is absolutely incredible because of how protected their IP. Whenever you're able to turn a negative into a pod like this, of course people are going to pick it up. Take a look what happened with Avoid in March of 2021 with Benny Schultz singing the national anthem at the Truck Series race and the whole entire Jim Romans in it. That's taking a negative into a positive in more of a contemporary modern example. 2019, 2021, same thing. But how Ice Nine Kills is able to take this idea, run with it, and then create their whole entire Nightmare on the Ninth thing off this really shows how genius these guys really are. So after the success of the Disney shirts being only out for a couple of days, and how feverish they were, again, Ice Nine Kills wanted to capitalize on this, so they started doing this every single month. Every month on the 9th, they release a brand new line of merch for the fans to check out and really get into. And I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely love it because on a couple of reasons. One, they really take in so many of the horror tropes and create custom merch off it. Well, they've done things for Christmas. They've done things for the Nightmare Before Christmas. They've done things for Friday the 13th when the pandemic hit. They did 28 Days Later. They did a second run of the Disney stuff, and it was absolutely hysterical with Minnie as Carrie, Donald Duck as Jack Torrance, and Michael Myers, I should say, not Mike Myers, Michael Myers trick-or-treating as Mickey. It's just absolutely incredible. The key to this is twofold. One, it keeps Ice Nine Kills in fans' minds.
It's free real estate.
Every single month with new merch, and plus it's horror-based, so everyone that's in it likes those movies can really get into it. The other thing too is these shirts are only available for a limited time. It creates more of this collective mindset and collector mindset amongst fans, so it creates more of this value, more of this lore behind the whole entire project, and especially on the internet, I mean, that's a huge thing right now. So they're just banking on this, and they're really connecting with this, and they're still doing it to this day, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Well, then 2020 happened with Ice Nine Kills and the pandemic, and we were wondering what was all going to happen with them. They did create some lore by saying they were working on new music, and on January 1st, 2021, Spencer Charner said that there would be a brand new Ice Nine Kills album. Now, a lot of us are wondering, what is this going to be like? Are we going to get another Silver Scream? Are we going to get another thing based off of different things of horror? Are we going to get something based off of serial killers? Or we get something completely new? What are we going to get? We were all wondering this, so it kept the idea of Ice Nine Kills in our minds. Again, now they're still in our heads. We're wondering when new music is coming out. We're just waiting for this stuff now. Also remember that in April and May of 2020, Ice Nine Kills was set to hit the road in the United States with Ivory Veil, Papa Roach, and Five Finger Death Punch. Why this is important is because you take a look at where the band started at this. Again, they're on Warped Tour. They're just on this smaller stage, and they're really starting to grow themselves to get to the Octane Accelerator Tour and headline it. But now they're the opener on a stadium national tour. This is absolutely huge because it shows how strong of a fan base Ice Nine Kills has. It shows the high quality of their music if they're going to be opening for a national tour that's going to be hosting tens of thousands of people every single night. Not only that, but you take a look at the fans of I Prevail, Papa Roach, Five Finger Death Punch, they're going to have to see Ice Nine Kills. they're getting to see the horror trope of it, and now you're seeing yourself in front of a lot more music fans that like that harder stuff. They're gonna get to know you a lot more. It just makes total sense going forward, and it's a bummer that it had to be missed out on, but still, Ice Nine Kills did well during the pandemic. They didn't just sit and take this lightly as well. They did a couple of covers. One cover was for the Fearless at Home live stream, which they covered Stacy's mom, but called it Jason's mom. And they did a whole other Friday the 13th thing. Again, you're really seeing kind of the more fun side of really bringing it in there as well, an acoustic setting. It really did work out well. Then around Valentine's Day in 2021, the band released a cover of Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis. And this really worked out well for them because they were able to, again, create merch off of it around Valentine's Day, but they also took the idea and really kept it similar to the source material, but put their own horror twist on it. But Spencer's vocals is really where this sticks out. The reason I say that is because with Spencer's vocals, he did a fantastic job keeping it clean, really showing the range and not going unclean, so people could really get behind it, especially people that aren't that big into the horror metalcore side of things. And got a lot of plays on Octane, so fans are still getting new music. They're still in the mindset of the fans. But you're just not getting all that new music, which we'll get in a little bit. During the pandemic, Spencer also did a lot of features with bands like Senses Fail, 0936, Twisted, High Road the Hero, Hollywood Undead. And while some of these vocal features I think were better than the others, the importance of doing these vocal features is now you're connecting with fans of other genres, of more of like this post-hardcore style, some more of the hip-hop and rap style of things. But what this is going to do is people are going to be able to understand what Spencer is doing. They're able to see his name on some of their favorite bands with more of a hip-hop sense. They're going to take a look and say, oh, who's this Ice Nine Kills? Let's go check him out. And if they have any like of horror, they're going to check out some from the Silver Scream. They might check out, let's say, American Nightmare, or Stabbing in the Dark, I'll say. And they might say, this sounds like it came off of like the movie Halloween, but like in a heavier metal sense. Then they realize it's based off of Halloween. They're going to say, oh my God, I'm a fan of Ice Nine Kills. The features just allow Spencer's voice to reach a lot wider audiences that would never get into his style of music, and allow them to check the band out and see that the band might have something exactly for them, and it just creates more marketing for the band to really kind of concentrate on and get more fans as the band continues on through the pandemic. One other thing the band did during the 2020 pandemic was the introduction of the Psychos app. It is a premium app which costs $66 every single year to get, you know, as close to Ice Nine Kills as possible. Very similar to Linkin Park's Underground back in the day, where this allows you to do many different things, where you get different sales codes for certain percentages off every Nightmare on the Ninth. You get special Ask Me Anythings with Spencer Charnas if you want to participate in them. You get to check out the new music early. You check out the new music videos early. You get to check out some of the demos that they create. And there's also a social network feature in there to connect with other fans of Ice Nine Kills. I will admit though, I am on the app and it is a little difficult to navigate. I will not lie on that aspect. It could be done better, but the concept behind it is perfect because now, even though people are paying a certain amount to get close to Ice Nine Kills, the amount of value that they're giving to the fans is more than you're paying. Especially by a lot of Nightmare on the Ninth merch. Hell, say you buy, you know, it 4 times in a year, you could easily make that money back in the savings. And then you get to talk with the guys potentially a lot easier. You get to get new streams on the music, early streams on the music. It just creates this more premium experience for quite a quality price, I'm not gonna lie. And it allows the fans to get more into the band and more connected with the fan base around themselves. Again, it's similar to Linkin Park Underground from, you know, from like the 2000s. This just keeps hitting on every single level. They're really expanding their reach digitally, and it just makes the most amount of sense. When it comes to the metalcore side, it seems like you can't get away from Ice Nine Kills. It seems like they're always there somewhere. That is genius. Then on July 9, 2021, we got our answer with the Silver Scream Part 2, Welcome to Horrorwood, coming out on October 15th, 2021. And this is interesting because this is going to be a sequel to an album about movies. So is it going to follow the Hollywood style of movies where the sequels are typically worse than the original, or is it going to buck the trend like Empire Strikes Back or Godfather Part 2? Jury's still out. As of this moment, they've only released 2 singles, with the third one coming out on September 9, 2021, so this video might be out after that release, or you might be checking out after that release has happened. Now, the 2 songs out are Hip to Be Scared, based off American Psycho, and a song based off of Child's Play. When you listen to the music, especially on Hip to Be Scared, it does have more of the slower melodic sensibility to it. Well, that's kind of weird. But it really fits in with the whole entire suave movements of Patrick Bateman. But then we get some of the crazier pre-choruses. We get the fun Huey Lewis and the New Style bridge that takes us back to that classic scene, which now Spencer actually gets to hack Jacoby Shaddix to death. and the heavier breakdown behind it as well really fits in with it. Then you go to Assault and Batteries, the crazier style video. It just fits in perfectly. You have to watch the video to really love this song. Trust me on this one. And then the wheelie guitars from Dancing in the pre-chorus, they go, that is just absolutely perfect. It really captures the whole entire craze of Child's Play, but just the overall visualization of it is incredible. But how they're releasing this is where the marketing genius comes in. Where the marketing genius comes in, again, is how they are releasing this. They're releasing a new song every single 9th of the month up until the album release, so they can do the Nightmare on the 9th, put out new merch inspired by each and every song and its source material. We saw that with Hit to Be Scared, we saw that with Assault and Batteries, we'll see it with all the other ones as well. Plus, it keeps Nightmare on the 9th so much more fresh because we're getting new music every step of the way. We're getting new merch every step of the way. It creates such a lore behind that merch is only available for, what, 2 days maybe? And have I bought some of it? Yeah, I have. I can't help myself. It's too good. But on top of that, even how they're releasing it like a crime scene, and the videos actually show this as well. Not as extensively as we saw with the original Silver Scream, but they're going through like a crime scene trying to find and catch Spencer, who's apparently is a killer, which, yeah, the videos do kind of show that though. But we're getting that horror trope again, we're getting a little bit of that, but every single month when a song is released on their website, they add more evidence to the board, and it just adds so much more to this crime team investigation style, which when you get to murder podcasts, you get to, CSI and NCIS shows, they're still real popular, especially those podcasts. It allows so many more people to get into the lore of Ice Nine Kills, get the idea of Ice Nine Kills. That's more in a modern take in 2021. Shouldn't even realize the murder podcasts up until now. Wow. Not only that, but the band has a good number of features on this album, which really also helps out. We see Jacoby Shaddix on Hit to Be Scared. We also see features of Brandon Sala of Atreyu, Ryan Kirby of Fit for a King, and Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse. Now again, you're gonna get more connection with those bands. The Papa Roach fans are gonna want to check out Hit to Be Scared. They are well connected with Fit for a King and Atreyu, but the Cannibal Corpse one, that's gonna be the one that has so many more people interested, and I can't wait to hear what it has. Again, it's gonna intrigue more of these heavier death metal style fans to go check out Ice Nine Kills because of something like this. They're gonna want to see how heavy this track goes, and I can tell you, Ice Nine Kills is gonna make it heavy as all hell. When it comes to more national notoriety, right now we're taking a look at the SiriusXM Octane ones, where as the moment I'm making this, Hit to Be Scared is the #1 song on the Big Guns Countdown at the end of August in 2021. We'll see where Assault and Batteries ends up playing, and at the end of the year we'll see where they end up playing, but we're going to see Ice Nine Kills on the overall Big Guns Countdown once again. It just adds more notoriety to it, plus the music videos are getting a lot more notoriety based on how closely they are to the source material. We're seeing a lot more reactors reacting to this stuff on the day of the release, and people are going crazy for it, so their internet presence is there. All the marketing is really gearing this up to what we will see when the album finally comes out. They are going to be touring another headline tour with Bad Omens, Escape the Fate, again, both those slipping first half, second half, Escape the Fate's first half, Bad Omens second half, along with the band Currents and Fame on Fire. They're also be doing different festival shows as well, and I'm going to Blue Ridge. They're playing later on Sunday. They're playing like the 7:30 slot. They're playing a really late time frame, and that is insane. You're seeing how a band went from this small Warped Tour band to now almost nearly headlining the biggest festival of 2021. If that ain't showing you marketing genius right there and how all of this got from point A to point B, man, I don't know, but you're seeing how they came up with so many different ideas, so many different things, so that when they got to this point now, after 10 years of really planting that seed and letting it grow, they hit on every single level. They just decided to create this whole entire lore around them. They took their niche and they slowly expanded, but they focused on the quality of the product first. That is the importance. Quality, that they came out with these crazier ideas, really hit on every single aspect of them, really made it more fan-oriented as well, and I gotta say, it hits. So how does the marketing affect them going forward? Now, with them releasing the Silver Scream 2 Welcome to Horrorwood later, will it break the sequel curse? Again, time will tell, but I'm assuming that when the album does drop, it will chart higher than number 29 on the Billboard Top 200. My other assumption is that their Spotify listener count as of 2020, October, they finally crossed the 1 million mark. They're about 1.3 million right now, and I've got a feeling by the end of the year they're going to end up crossing 2 million, especially with the release of Welcome to Horrorwood. Now, how can they keep growing and doing different things with marketing? Well, a couple of different things. One, seeing the different features they've done, they could potentially do other features and include a couple of other styles of music in their things. They could do some more stuff with gothic rock, goth. They could do some emo rap stuff as well. You never know where they could go, but they could experiment with that and experiment with features on that. The other thing they can do is they can really further ingratiate themselves in the horror community. Spencer Charles is currently going out to do all these different conventions around the horror genre, and again, connecting fans on a face-to-face level. But, not gonna lie, wanna know what would really make this work? Seeing Spencer Charnas in a horror movie. I gotta say, I think that's the next step to make Ice Nine Kills really pop, but it's gotta be a horror movie that is good. I feel like he's gotta die in the horror movie though, and it's gotta be one hell of a death. That's gonna be the thing that's gonna take Ice Nine Kills easily past that 2 million subscriber limit to the point where this band, if they're gonna be going back out on tour, it's not gonna be at club shows anymore. You're gonna potentially see these guys at some of these super large venues that'll hold 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people. Or maybe when they get to those stadium tours again, they won't be opening, maybe not headlining. They'll definitely be in the middle though. But when it comes to the marketing of Ice Nine Kills, if you watch the video, you'll see every single thing that they did, from building the quality of their music, capitalizing on every opportunity, and really growing their fan base one step at a time to really understand that, again, quality is always at the core of it, and quality is at everything they do. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I missed. Put in the comments below. I'd love to talk to you guys. You can also comment on our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram when I post this stuff. Feel free to message us as well, because I'm the one that looks at them. I'd love to hear what you think about the video, about the marketing of Ice Nine Kills, and what you can expect from Welcome to Horrorwood. Want to hear about it? I will be doing a Welcome to Horrorwood album review a couple days after it releases. I might get it early though. I don't know anymore. We'll see what happens though. But I want to thank you guys for watching this video once again. This is Kevin from MST Rocks and the Chord Progression Podcast. I want to end with the hat flip. See ya.